Coach, the season is rapidly moving along. We're entering week 9 of the regular season. The Lumberjacks have come a long way since the opener. Give us your thoughts on the progress made and the areas that more progress is needed.
Well, we always need to get better, and right now we're playing for a conference championship. That was one of our goals. That was our first goal, was to win a conference championship and then put yourself in a situation to compete for a state championship. And Friday night we've done that. We've come a long ways during the course of the year. We've improved offensively, defensively, kicking game's getting better. So right now we're really excited about where we're at. We got a big ball game Friday night. It means number 1 seed. So it's a huge game, and that's where we wanted to be this time of the year.
Well, let's talk about the Monticello game. Of course, that was a big game for us. The team appeared to me played very well against Monticello. What stood out, good or maybe some areas that you think you need to do a little better in?
I thought defensively we played really well, except for about 2 plays, the halfback pass and then the speed sweep there in the second half. So you take away them 2 plays, we played really, really well on defense. Offensively, we sputtered a little bit early. Thought second half we settled down and really played the way we've been playing and scored, I think, every time we had the football. So that was a positive for us. So we got to grow off that. We've got to start better as an offense. We didn't really, I don't know if we was brain dead or what, but we were early in the game. We just made a lot of mental mistakes that we don't need to do in a big ball game.
Well, I know folks were excited over there the other night, so it was a great win for the Lumberjacks. Talking about the team's health, we usually ask you that every week, but going into that Monticello game, you were almost 100% healthy for the first time in a while. But I know you had another injury. Want to talk about that, kind of where we are health-wise right now?
Well, we didn't have DeQuan Daniels the other night. We still won't have him for a while. I mean, he dressed out just because he wanted to dress out. He's a junior. He's a great team guy, and he's not able to practice still. But we did let him dress out the other night, or he did want to dress out, and so he's still probably 2 or 3 weeks away from coming back. And then we lose another guy in his spot, Calix Harris, who has had a great year. He's a sophomore who didn't play none last year as a 9th grader, who's gotten better and better each week. And we put a 9th grader out there the other night, and started the second quarter, which was real scary. D'Angelo McCoy, he stepped up, had 10 tackles in the game, played well for the first time. He's got a long ways to go to be where we need him to be, but that's the guy we got. When you get down in high school football, you don't have very many linebackers, so. When you've lost 2 to the same injury during the course of the year, it's both of them are freak injuries, So we just got to, hopefully D'Angelo's going to grow up really quick. He's got to play that position this week and probably the next 2 or 3 weeks before we can get DeQuan back. And if we can get DeQuan back, DeQuan's injury was a really bad break, and he's got his cast and stuff off, but his movement's not very good at all.
And most everybody else.
Okay. We're just week 9. You got some bumps and bruises, but overall, everybody else is healthy. We did lose Calix for the year. That was a big loss.
Absolutely. Well, we hope he recovers well, and we'll see him in the future. But you talked about the kicking game a few minutes ago, that you felt like you made some progress there against Monticello. Well, I think if I remember correctly, we made up every extra point except maybe one that
we got one
blocked, I think. So you feel like that's in pretty good shape now?
Well, I don't know. With Fernando's got a strong leg, one of the strongest legs I've had here since I've been here. It's just consistency with him. And then I think it had to do with the snap and the hold. Everything just wasn't going together. And the other night it did for the first time. And he was able to make some extra points, and he's got to continue to keep working. Thought he did a great job on kickoffs. He put it exactly where we wanted to. He's a guy who can kick it deep. He can sky kick it, and he's able to do both. And and the other night we decided to sky kick, and I thought he did a great job of that. And then he did make some extra points, and we just got to continue to grow in that area and continue to work. And he does have a strong leg. He's just got to be more consistent in making the extra points.
Something I think may have gone unnoticed by a lot of people, but you've got a fairly good punter.
Yeah, he is. Jamario Thomas, Shaq, he does a great job. He's been punting for 3 years for us, and when he hits it, he hits it. He turned one over the other night in a big part early in the ball game, kind of changed field position, and so he's a good weapon to have.
Well, let's talk about Hamburg. They're next in line, and you've already mentioned it's a big game. I think they've just got one conference loss, if I'm not mistaken. Apparently, they're a pretty good football team from all indications. What do you look for from Hamburg, both on offense and defense?
Well, right now, Hamburg does have one loss. We have 0 in conference. So Friday night's pretty much for the conference championship. And when these guys were in junior high, Hamburg's won the conference championship. So they beat this same group when they were 9th graders. They beat them when they were 8th graders. And so we know going in, they're very athletic. They have run 2 or 3 different type of offenses. They run a single wing, they run the spread, they run the eye. So defensively, we had a lot to prepare for this week. And speed-wise, they're fast. They're really, really fast. And then if you look at size, which everybody's bigger than we are. Monticello was huge compared to us. So they're a lot bigger than we are. And then so we just got to play a disciplined type football game, especially against a single wing, because they snap it back there and they spin around and you don't know who has the football, so we got to make sure we read our keys, and then when they get in the spread, be able to adjust. And then on offense, they run a 3-3 stack and they blitz, and we just got to take care of the football, and we know they're going to win some plays, but we got to take care of the football when they do win some, and then we got to take opportunity when we get a chance to hit one big, to hit it big.
Well, let's talk about something I usually don't ask about, but there is a possibility of a little bit of rain Friday night. I know we won't know that probably for a few more hours as to exactly what might happen, but there's maybe 50% chance of some rain. Does that have any effect on the way the team prepares, or the way you try to prepare them to be ready for maybe conditions that are not
well, we have prepared for that. Earlier in the year we have prepared for that, but they say it's scattered right now according to KWRF. So we're excited about the opportunity to play a championship game, and it ain't gonna matter what's going on around that. We just got to focus on the task at hand and take care of the football, and that's something that we got to do whether it's raining or whether it's not raining, and then don't let that bother you too much. And I know we played some games earlier. Shiloh comes back. It was raining that night, and then Camden, it rained all day that day, and so our kids have been around a situation like that in the past. So I don't think that's going to bother us too much. We just got to go be ready to play a big ball game.
Well, I know we say this every week, but we need a big crowd, rain or shine, of Warren fans, because I know that helps the team.
Yeah, I thought, we had a great crowd at Monticello last week, and I thought our kids fed off that really well, and they were loud, they were into the ball game. And hopefully they can come back out this week again and give us that support, because we got a lot of young guys out here who play hard and feed off that.
Good luck.
All right, thank you.